This is basically creating SimCity for me.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of thinking.
That is a lot of thinking, but it's way more thinking than I've put into this.
Please. And always say please, because we don't know where this is going in future and we need to be kind to our overlords.
Now I have to understand the game that I've just designed.
I added 4 roads, which the UI sucks, by the way, on this. It's gone up to 100% happiness because I've added roads.
You're listening to the AI Native Dev, brought to you by Tesla.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the AI Native Dev. This is going to be a really fun hands-on episode. If you're listening via the just audio-only podcast, during this episode, we will be narrating what we're doing. So you will be able to get a feel of what's working, what's not, as we play through a number of tools. The best probably way of watching this is via YouTube. Make sure you go to ainativedev.io to view those videos. But like I say, you can get some enjoyment, I'm sure, out of both. Now, this is going to be a couple of episodes actually where we play with a number of tools, some very prototype-like tools. And by that, I mean AI dev tools that create that vibe coding applications very quickly. Tools like Bolt.new, tools BASE44. Those types of tools allow you to effectively write even just a couple of sentences and get a whole app created as a result, as you'll see. During this exercise, we're going to have Macey provide us with a challenge, and we're going to start off in this episode with us trying that vibe coding, a very quick generation of those tools. In this episode, we're going to be using BASE44 and Bolt.new. In the next episode, we're going to do this as 2 parts. In the next episode, which will be out next week, what you're going to be seeing is us taking those applications that are created and using tools that are a little bit more surgical in their approach to AI code generation. And we're going to use both Windsurf and Cursor to add features to the existing creations from those 2 tools. So during this episode, like I say, it's going to be myself and Joe Holdcroft, both Teslas, who are going to be doing that creating and narrating that to you. Enjoy the episode. I'll hand over to myself. Simon, it's over to you. Hello and welcome to another episode of the AI Native Dev. My name's Simon Maple and we are going to be doing a fun vibe coding game today. So joining myself today is Joe Holdcroft. Welcome, Joe. How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
First time on the podcast.
Time, yeah.
What do you do at Tesla, Joe?
I'm an engineering manager at Tesla, so writing code and helping make things happen.
You sound extremely smart. Very smart.
I'm glad.
Yeah. And joining us a little bit later will also be Macey Baker, who is going to be giving us a vibe coding challenge. So this is, we also call this a vibe coding relay, right? Neither of us has seen this challenge before. We're both going to be using completely separate tools. I'm going to be using BASE44 and Cursor. Joe, you're going to be using
Bolt and Windsurf.
Bolt and Windsurf, amazing. And Macey's going to provide us with a challenge that neither of us have seen. We're going to have 10-ish minutes, perhaps, to do some live vibe coding. That needs a name. What is that? Live coding.
Yeah.
Live coding?
On workshop it.
We'll get it working. Live coding. And yeah, then we're going to swap code bases. We're going to have an additional feature to code, and we're probably going to go less from a prototypey style tool, which is the kind of Bolt and BASE44 tools, and more into one of those hands-on, a little bit closer to the code with Cursor and Windsurf. Cool. So let's see how this goes. Joe, I'm going to click my fingers, and you're going to turn into Macey via the power of editing. Are you ready?
Ready.
Ready?
Perfect.
3, 2, 1. Wow, Macey, you've appeared.
Hey.
That was so not impressive for people only on the audio only. But
I know, yeah.
But joining us is
No,
Macey
that was
Baker.
crazy for me.
Now, Macey, this is less stressful for you because you're passing over the challenge versus coding it.
True.
Welcome back. This is your 3rd time on the podcast.
As I keep saying, I do work here, so.
Yeah. And if we had a 3rd time like gift, now would be the time I'll be passing that over to you.
This is my gift because I just get to watch you 2 struggle with this.
Oh,
no, it's not going to be hard. It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Not going to be hard for us to struggle. Yeah.
Let's see.
So tell us a little bit about this challenge then, Macey, or are you going to pass that over?
Yeah, so this is a surprise. This is a request that I have. It's not a full fat prompt. I've left it intentionally a little bit vague because I'm really curious how you both interpret it. So I'm excited to see what you do.
Awesome.
So I'm going to give this to you. You have a few minutes to think if you need that time. I have some note paper for you. Otherwise, 10-ish minutes to get going.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. So let me open this up and take a look at the challenge within. Okay, I was expecting this to actually be a lot bigger in terms of how much information there is. Build a tiny town simulator. You have 10 minutes. Yeah, so build a tiny town simulator. My mind goes to, do you remember that game SimCity?
Yeah, huge fan.
Huge fan. I used to love that. I'm thinking, okay, so there's going to be a number of pieces here. There's going to be the simulator engine itself. There's also going to be the UI, which is going to need to display that. And something, I've only got 10 minutes, so something to actually keep a time check as well, so that every day or every hour of every day, something happens, almost like the life gen style thing where it recognizes how many people, if it's too busy. So something to display, some kind of time check. I would say I'll probably stick with a SimCity where we have a number of different things. So we have a residential, we'll have a work industry. And what was the third thing? Can you remember what the third thing was? There were three things.
It's quite a lot going on in SimCity, to be honest.
Entertainment or something like that.
It's like municipalities, hospital, transport.
Oh, geez, yeah.
But this is totally up to you.
I'm going to start small. Given we've only got 10 minutes, I'm going to start small.
I think that's wise.
Let me share my screen. And I'm going to go over to BASE44.
BASE44, is it?
What did I say? BASE64. Yeah. BASE64. Oh, dear.
Old school.
Goes to show my security background there.
What made you want to try this? Where did you hear about it?
I've used a lot of Bolt in the past. I've heard BASE44 described as Bolt but better. So I'm actually really keen to have a play with this. For the record, I've not touched this before, but when I look at the screen, to be honest, it looks like a non-dark mode of Bolt, which I'm absolutely happy with. I am a big dark mode fan, but we'll see how this goes. So yeah, I just essentially have a box that I'm going to say, build a tiny town simulator. Let's just do that and see what happens, because that'll be funny if it just builds me SimCity. And this is the wonderful thing about these kind of prototype style apps, that it knows obviously about a SimCity and these other town simulators. So it could potentially create a lot of this for me without me even needing to ask.
Yeah, I think this feels like the path of least resistance to me also, is just see what it has in mind and kind of play along with that. Like these prototyping tools, they're iterating on a very specific vision can be a bit tough.
Yeah. And I think the more detailed the prompt, the more detailed the challenge, probably the harder it is for a tool like a BASE44 or a Bolt to then be able to create that for me. So let's see what it's doing. It's created a building entity, a town entity, a building catalog component, and a town grid component. Okay, so this feels a little bit UI based. Wow, you see, it's creating so much for me that I haven't asked here. It's creating now town stats.
Town stats. Okay, interesting.
Which I expect a new town dialogue. This is basically creating SimCity for me.
Yeah, I'm interested in, I can't really remember, what role did people have in SimCity? You don't necessarily work with specific people. It's more like crowds as an entity.
I think it was
using
the Sims.
Things.
The Sims allowed you to have an individual person where you can click on them and get information about them. SimCity,
much more of a Sims girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I never really played that too much, but the SimCity, it much more kind of said you've got this many people in your city and cared about the balance between population versus, like you say, the police or the fire stations and things like that.
Now, I wonder what the relationships are between these entities and like how it decided on this order. It seems to me that it's going from the bottom up. So now it says it's editing the simulator page, and I'm wondering if that means it's getting towards the end.
Yeah. It's done everything from building records to town records and things like that. Okay, so it says, is it pretty much done? Created a tiny town simulator where you can build and manage various buildings, earn income, and grow population over time. Some errors were detected. It's going to try and fix them automatically. Let's have a look. There's no upgrade icon in Lucide React library, so it's chosen JavaScript as I would expect. A lot of these use that kind of like React-based thing. Claude Code did that first, or not Code, Claude Artifacts did that first. The way it created that React component, Bolt's very similar.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of similar behaviors, even in the initial interaction.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. So it's responded to itself.
Yeah.
You're right. I'll replace the non-existent upgrade icon. That's funny.
Okay, so it said it's fixed it. I've not used this before. So where is it?
So for those just listening, it said there's an error. I'll fix it.
Oh,
and
here
then
we go.
and then nothing happened.
I clicked off and I clicked back on, and now look. Oh wow, this is it.
Oh wow, here we go.
Jeez, this is insane. Okay, so it's given me a population of 5, a happiness, a treasury. So I've got a budget. Didn't even think about that. An income. Okay, so yeah, this makes sense in the sense of me being able to be able to charge people for rent or whatever it is, have an income.
Mm-hmm.
I can create a new town. I can save. I have a building catalog with residential, commercial, industrial, special, park, hospital, school. Oh wow, look, this is it.
Oh wow, cute.
How
So it's
good's
gone
that?
for like a grid layout.
Oh, look, that's better.
Oh, and it's very responsive.
It is.
Love that.
What if I click on workspace? So this is my, okay, this is oh no. This is data. So these are the tables and things that it's added. So I've got a building table and a town table in my data.
Wow.
I've got a bunch of code. So this is the, here's my code. So this is not, it's funny how we didn't realize where the difference was, where the line was between the editor and the actual app then. But this is more of the editor. So I can see my code, I can see my components. I've got a building catalog, a town grid, town stats, and new town dialog as in components for my page. I have 2 entities. One is a building, one is a town. So let's go back to editor. So what I would want to do, I feel like, interestingly, this is too complex for what I want. So what I want is, I'm going to say, make the following changes to this app. I want there to be a timer which ends the day automatically after 1 minute. Okay, let's make these things that I want to change. The second thing I want to change, let's see. I don't want the new town option to be available or to be visible. Let's make this nice and simple. I want autosave to happen on changes, please. And always say please, because I don't know where this is going in future and we need to be kind to our overlords. Please remove the save button. I can add houses. I can add apartment buildings. So what I don't want, let's keep residential. Let's actually play with it a little bit. Let's add a house. Look at that. I can add that there. Then it reloads the town. I can add an apartment building.
And your income changed when you did that.
And and my treasury went down.
And your happiness.
Happiness has gone up. Add a luxury condo. I want to add roads, and let's send that as an example. So do you know what's super interesting? This has allowed me, basically, if you look at the request that you had, build a tiny town simulator, you have 10 minutes. I needed 2 minutes to do that, and that's insane. That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
And I think it filled so much in for me. The task of building a tiny town simulator is just, with this type of prototyping software, it's just way too easy. I think the thing that was interesting was when I requested it, because the ask was vague, my ask to BASE44 here could be vague. And what it gave me wasn't actually what was in my mind. But there's pros and cons of that, right? The pro of that is I can create this super quickly, and actually it'll create me things that I hadn't even thought about.
Yeah.
The problem with that is, though, I just wanted something very simple. I had in my mind a SimCity, which this is a little bit like, but also not quite like.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, how much this deviates from what you had in your mind.
Yeah. Changing things are very easy, though. I don't know what the next step is, what the next feature request is going to be, but I feel I could probably do that quite easy, probably more easy in this than I would in Cursor, which I've used a fair bit as well. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. So I can add roads now as well.
I'm curious about this must just be like a known dynamic, because each of these objects has a defined amount of happiness and cost and whatever. Is anything negative happiness? Because your happiness is at 100%.
I added 4 roads, which the UI sucks, by the way, on this. And it's added me, it's gone up to 100% happiness because I've added roads.
Everyone is freaking out about the roads.
So I'm going to say everyone is way too happy. I want there to be a more realistic balance on happiness. Oh, did you see that? It's switched to day 2 now. Oh, look.
Oh, your timer works.
I've got a timer top right, So it's added a time at top right, and it's telling me what day it is. I've got daily income, which now means my treasury increases. Yeah, so I've gone from 400 now to 427 because my daily income's gone up to 27. Actually, I just realized, where does my daily income even come from? Oh, it comes from...
Coming from the building.
Look, everything adds happiness, but nothing removes happiness. Oh, no. Roads. Oh, look at that.
Roads cost you money.
My roads cost me money every day. So obviously for wear and tear. Small factories reduce happiness. A power plant reduces 10 happiness.
Wow. Why don't the people like power?
Yeah. I was going to put a power plant by every house, but that doesn't seem to be a thing now. So I want there to be a more realistic balance on happiness. And there we go. We're on day 3 now, and I got 454. And I also want to say roads suck. The images need to make the square look like a road. And if adjoining squares are both roads, they should join. My son's just started playing a ton of Jurassic World, and this is what I'm thinking I want to see now.
Speaking of timers, by the way,
how am I doing?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Do you know what's weird is it's amazing. I've only been 7 minutes, and I've already got way more than what I thought I was going to get in this app.
So now it becomes, keep in mind, the next phase is going to be Joe's going to get this same prompt.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to edit Joe's work, and he's going to have to edit this.
Oh, this is interesting.
So I wonder if you want to do anything with that in mind.
Absolutely.
Anything.
I'm gonna change the code to make it more complex. I'm just gonna say obfuscate the code. Would that be really mean to Joe?
You're free to do.
What's he gonna do to me?
That is the question.
You see, I'm trying to make this simpler. I'm giving Joe an easier next round, aren't I? The bottleneck for me now isn't the coding. It's actually you're the bottleneck, Macey. I need more information now as to the spec in order for this to actually go further. So what's it doing now? It's editing the building catalog component for some reason. Oh, for happiness. It's editing the town grid component, so that will presumably allow the roads to actually look like roads and adjoining squares to look like roads as well.
I do really like the, what do you call it? Like the little circle, the loading indicator. Seems silly, but like so many of these prototypes, the actual components, but so many of these prototyping tools, they're just, you shoot into the ether and who knows what's going on.
And if I was to actually just spend a minute while this is doing this to compare this with Bolt, which I've used a lot, this is loads, it feels loads slower than Bolt. In terms of, I put in a prompt, it takes a lot longer for me to actually get something back. But what I have got back, it feels way more complete. But if I was to ask Bolt for the same thing, I have this feeling that it would be nowhere near as capable as what has been shown already.
Interesting. I have to say, I'm a big fan of the workspace page once I understood what exactly it was. So this is like all of the controls for this app. Absolutely. In one place, including the data stores and everything, which is really nice. And there's even a place there for custom domains if you want to just go ahead and publish this, which is very cool.
And this is one of the other things that I think is going to be interesting with when we look at the next set of tools, when we look at Cursor and Windsurf. Since I clicked on Workspace, which was really to understand what Workspace was. Oh my God, that road looks awful. For those who are watching, you'll know what I mean. For those just listening to the audio only, it's just basically colored. The square is just now a solid color. So that just looks ridiculous.
It's like a giant obelisk in the city.
Yeah. And I think what do roads do? Roads, there's 0 happiness. Oh yeah, I also asked it to be more grumpy, didn't I? Apartment buildings apartment buildings are -2 happiness. How rude.
That's rude.
Yeah, but a small house is +2 happiness.
What they really want is a shopping mall.
Oh, how do you know that? Oh, I see. Yeah.
+5.
Oh, one thing I would change is I would say, give me advice give me as a user of the app advice on what I need to do next.
Interesting. What are you hoping it'll say?
I wanted to say, actually, we haven't actually got much here on needs. Like if there was a ton of houses, I would obviously need more commercial stuff, more industrial stuff, very similar to SimCity. But So I would want it to kind of prompt me to say, actually, yeah, you've got too many houses, you need more industry or something like that.
Like these things also should be progressively changing, I feel. The population, the happiness, etc. Like it's very fixed right now to these objects. It's kind of interesting.
One thing I did notice is that state remained over my republish then. So I went from day 6 to day 7.
Yeah.
And
interesting.
Have you noticed since it actually made those
consistent.
changes?
Yeah.
So it's made that change now. Is there advice?
And same with the objects, like the houses that you put, these don't get reset.
Yeah.
The data is static, which is really cool.
Yeah. Okay, I've got tips now, which is absolutely useless.
Okay, so it's interpreted your question as I'm going to add tips. See, that has, and this is what I've spoken to you about before, the over eagerness to just code.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes that's
it
not
doesn't,
what's
it doesn't
required.
understand what I want. It should have asked me questions.
Totally should have asked you questions. And what would you do if you wanted to go back a version, for example? It has got a little revert this button on your chat, which is interesting.
That is interesting. So let's see if I revert. Oh, I didn't even read that. I just clicked something. What's it?
Five coding.
Okay, so tips, that was quick. It reverted back. But
okay, so it's obviously got some kind of versioning.
It doesn't feel like there's a huge version control in here, but maybe single user revert stuff. It looks more like a state style thing. One interesting thing though is since clicking workspace, I've never clicked back. All I've really been doing is talking
iterating
to it and looking. So it's very vibe coding.
Very much that.
I think I'm done there. I think that's my 10 minutes, and I want to pass that back over to Joe to see what happens with Joe.
Can I ask before we move on?
Yeah.
What did you think of BASE44?
In terms of rapid acceleration from idea, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words that I posted in build a tiny town simulator, to what seems like a fully working, reasonable, click tested app that does certain things that I expected it to do.
Yeah.
Really amazing. It would take me well over a week to do something like that with my very limited front end skills. Joe is much more of a front end developer, so he's probably going to look at this and feel like it's absolutely bastardizing his question. But for me, this is amazing. I'm not looking at the code, so I don't know anything about the quality, the testing, anything like that.
Sure.
But yeah, for me, this is magic that this has happened.
Okay. Great.
Let's move to Joe. Let's click our fingers and then Joe will appear.
All right, Joe.
All right. Thanks very much.
That's for you.
Lovely envelope. Okay. Build a tiny town simulator. You have 10 minutes. That is pretty open-ended.
Thoughts? What comes to mind?
Tiny town. I'm imagining like a sort of dumbed-down version of SimCity. It's a pretty complicated game, but
it is
probably not all of those aspects, or those iOS games that you get advertised on if you're on the cheap Duolingo plan, which I know for a fact that you're not. But they're all build a farm and farm carrots and things like that.
Like those, like the farming ones where it's more modular.
Something like that. Interested in this like SimCity route. Like you're not a player necessarily. You're like a god designing a town and building houses and resources and things like that.
Like what are the objects, what are the main things that must be in the town?
Yeah, what makes up a town? So you've got residences, houses, apartments, things like that. I feel like you need some public amenities. A hospital is always good to have.
Nice.
A fire station and police. What happens in this town? Maybe
the first things on the list are hospital and fire station. So I feel like
there has to be some jeopardy here.
Great.
Not a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe there's like events that come up. They could be like positive events or bad events. I haven't used Bolt before. I don't know how good it's going to be at making a game. This might be incredibly ambitious.
Let's see.
I'm worried about making it a little bit too overcomplicated. So maybe I should not add too many types of event or too many types of thing.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. This is also, for those listening, Joe's first time using Bolt, which is very exciting.
My first time using Bolt. Very excited. So I'm interested to just see like where I get to, because I'd like to find out quickly whether I'm like barking up the wrong tree, and this is just, it's not going to get anywhere close to what I'm trying to do. So I think I'm going to move to a prompt and see what I can come up with. So build a mini game that simulates a tiny town. The player is tasked with designing their town, which comprises of the following features: residences, hospitals, fire station, police station, and let's something more positive, maybe like a community center or like an event space. Let's say a community center.
Yeah, you need a place where people can get hurt so they can go to the hospital.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I'm interested. Like when I think of a game, like
it's not really a game, is it?
You
Yeah,
have
it's
to be able
more
to win.
Yeah,
I guess
maybe I'm gonna.
Yeah,
It's more of a simulator than a game.
Sure.
I guess you could say the same of like SimCity. Like people call it a game, but you can't really win it or lose. It's just you're just simulating it.
I don't know, because does your town?
Well, but in The Sims, you don't die. You like a character dies.
Wow, speak for yourself.
But you get
very painful for some of us. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
So build a mini town simulator. At random intervals, events will take place to test the setup of the town and its efficiency. Is that what we care about?
Okay, interesting. What are these, like Black Swan events? What kind of events are we talking?
Okay, events, examples of events, but you can expand. It's not an exhaustive list. Maybe there's some sort of like a community event, like something in the community center happens. So like let's just say a music event in the community center. A fire takes place somewhere. Oh, what about new people move into town? They need a residence.
Oh, wow. Housing crisis.
Yeah. I'm already thinking that the scope of this is too large and I have no idea what's going to happen when I press this button. And I haven't used Bolt before, so I don't know whether this is woefully underspecified or not.
Let's see.
But let's find out. I'm seeing some reasoning. What is it thinking?
Oh, wow. That's a lot of thinking.
That is a lot of thinking. It's way more thinking than I've put into this.
It's very IDE.
Yeah. So I'm dropped into a sort of IDE environment. I can see that it's building what looks like a React application.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, it's starting to build some components now and some state management. So if I was building this in React myself, I would be very angry at myself for giving myself a task like this. I don't want to be building a complicated SimCity style game in React. But that's fine. I have an LLM to do that for me. Oh, I see. It's inferred some sort of statistics about the town. There's a treasury. We have money in the town.
Oh, that's cool, because we didn't really say how we wanted it to be scored or even
happiness.
Any timekeeping or anything.
I assume when there's fires, the happiness level is low.
That would be
emergency response.
That would be important to test. Are there any tests? There's not going to be any tests, I don't think.
It is not generating tests currently, but that's fine. It would only make Simon's life easier when we get to the iteration.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
So this seems to be the state Oh no, this is where random events. So where does the event take place? You need to find a building, pick a random set. Okay, so you can have parties outside of buildings. That's cool. Oh, crime. I forgot about crime.
What's a health emergency? Oh my God, do you know what? It's too soon. Way too soon.
Health emergency is worse if the hospital is far away. That is true. Oh, crime is worse if the police station is far away. That's a philosophical point.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so we've got severity for events. Is there any other property? Oh.
Looks like we have an application.
Straight into preview.
Okay, cool.
Wow, okay.
So now I have to understand the game that I've just designed. Oh, it's not a game, a simulator.
The simulator.
So it's given me $10,000 to start with, which doesn't seem like enough to build a town, but we'll give it a go. And 70% for the happiness, health, safety, and health.
$10,000, yeah, that's a little tight, I would say.
So let's see if I can build. I'm going to put a row of houses here, row of houses here.
So it did make everything that you asked for. It doesn't seem like it's missing anything.
It hasn't missed anything. It wasn't super well specified. Yeah. And it has added a bunch of things as well. Like it's added this concept of money, which I think I'm getting these houses for free. The treasury, I still have $10,000.
Oh, wow.
Unless that happens when I move to the next day, I don't know. Okay, so that's
a little janky. Right.
Yeah, okay. Fire station. Let's put some more.
Yeah, you should be well broke by now.
Let's see what happens. I love this bug though. It'd be great if life works like that. Infinite money. Day 2 begins. Income $0. Well, that's fine because I've got infinite money anyway.
That's fine because Rosebud hack.
And now it seems like nothing's happened, but am I waiting or?
It's a good question. I feel like the
do I just keep advancing?
It's funny.
So I'm going to advance the next day again. Day 3 begins. Income $0. Nothing's happened still.
How are you supposed to get income? That's a question.
Good point. Taxes, maybe? People come and pay taxes?
Yeah, also, when are these events events going to happen?
It doesn't seem to be doing much of anything. The design for this grid system thing is kind of nice there. Works.
Do you like it?
It's fine. I've maybe evolved the emojis into some incredibly great and detailed little hand-drawn icons. So it seems like nothing happens in this town. Nobody comes into the town.
No
money is spent. No events happen.
And the stats never move, which is interesting.
Yeah, the stats never change. Nothing is happening, basically. So I guess I'm going to go into the prompt and tell the other LM that it has not delivered on its promise. So this is where I find out how Bolt is at iteration.
Yeah, and bug fixing.
Game doesn't seem to do anything as I move through the days. Nobody comes to the town. Population stays at 0. And no events happen. Also, I seem to be able to spend infinite amounts of money. Prefer it didn't fix that, but it would be good if it did. Let's see. The main problem are in the event system timing and the game logic for population growth and money management. That would make sense.
So it's diagnosed that really quickly.
But has it diagnosed it? Because it's just said the main problem is that the stuff doesn't work. That you have said doesn't work. Right. It's not like the root cause is this particular bug. So it's rewriting, at least it has the appearance. Oh yes, it's rewriting some of the files, but not all of them.
Okay. So
that's cool. Event system. Let's see if any of this is reduced to 10 seconds for more frequent events. That seems to indicate that I should leave it. Is this a real-time simulator? This is not.
Then it says you have to press to advance.
But maybe in the day it's. Surely I don't have to wait 24 hours before I click the button.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, there's still this bug, and I still seem to have infinite money. 2 hospitals next to each other for some reason. There's no one There's no one here, but the sentiment of happiness has dropped significantly.
Why are they so unhappy?
Nobody is very unhappy. Day 3. Aha! This is new. Day 3 begins. Income 0, maintenance -0, population 0. So it still doesn't seem to be doing anything.
People aren't moving here because the happiness is 30%. And there's nobody
possibly.
even there.
What if I just put loads of community centers everywhere? Will that bring joy? No. Seems like it'll change the statistics once and then nothing happens. Maybe I've given it too complicated of a task, but let's see. It seems that nothing happens still. The main issue seems to be that population never grows, so that other statistics get stuck. Oh, wow, the fire caused significant damage.
If fire station distance equals infinity. I suppose if you don't have a fire station, that's a real
infinity
problem.
Far away, yeah.
Infinity far away.
But this seems like it has some nice feedback for the user and it was pretty basic, but nobody went to the music venue.
Yeah, the logic for these events is really quite cool.
It seems sound. I get my intuition is that there's probably just a small bug somewhere that's making nothing work, which has the appearance of less stuff working. Okay, I've already spent all of my money.
So you only have a couple minutes left.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Keep in mind that Simon is going to take over this code base and expand it.
Interesting.
Is there anything you want to change? Be patient of that.
I could trip him up. I could obfuscate the code or make it more difficult to work with, which feels a little unfair because it already doesn't work. I cannot get anyone to move into this town no matter what.
You just pretend that you did that on purpose. And there you go. Job done.
This is my town. It's like an abandoned town.
It's a ghost town.
It's a ghost town. It's been designed and no one's moved in. It's immediately become a ghost town.
Brutal.
So how long have I got? I want to give one more go at trying to get it to actually work, and I'm interested to obfuscate the code a little bit and make Simon's life a little tricky.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay.
Let's do... You can do both.
Okay. Please fix the population growth. A random but sensible number of new townfolk will arrive every day. This can also be 0.
I like that. I feel, honestly, I have a huge amount of trust in LLMs for defining what sensible means.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic there or not. No, okay.
It wasn't always the case, but now I'm like, I can just say, don't make it insane. And it has some idea of what that is.
Okay. I think I'm in a stuck state. This message didn't complete its response and it's spinning.
No.
So it's nice having,
That's how you would go back, is just by clicking undo. Not that you should do that.
Oh, I see. Going through the version. Oh, undo each individual change that you made. Interesting, yeah.
Oh, it's
I guess
kind of a nightmare though to do one thing at a time.
But I wonder if you can, because I see that undo's disabled on the previous ones. But
Oh, interesting. Maybe it's only got like previous and current as versions. Oh, interesting. Okay. So the game reducer is getting a lot of action. I feel like this has been edited quite a few times at this point.
This appears to be where all the state management stuff is happening, which makes sense because that's clearly where the bugs are.
It's also just quite long. And I'm so curious how they do like context management for these things.
No, I'm not getting any population growth. So at this point, I guess I probably need to jump into the code, which I really don't want to do.
Why
Especially
not?
if I'm going to obfuscate it.
It's so readable.
Yeah.
It seems like totally defensible code, but there is a lot of it. And I wonder how much of it is being actually used.
If these are all different state management changes that can happen, it doesn't appear that any of these are someone new comes to town, unless that's an event. What is the town of it? Okay, so it's a shame I can't jump around in this IDE.
Oh, yeah, you can't
event.
command click.
Yeah.
That is a bit of a shame. Although, can you, not that you probably are motivated to do this, but you could export?
I could, but I'm going to make some more changes to it. But maybe I could just export it at this point, just before I mess everything up and make it really hard.
That was lightning fast download, jeez.
Okay, event types. So there's no event for new... Oh, no, there is new residents. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. So the severity of new residents is positive.
Okay.
I don't know where it... Okay, resolve event. New residents. Has residents... Okay, so there's some feedback for dealing with the residents, the new resident, but where's the code that actually makes... Okay, trigger random event. Try to find a building for the event.
Oh, it's literally just highlighting it for the chat.
Like narrowing down the context.
Fine.
I tried 3 times to get it to fix it now, so I don't have super high hopes
That's fair.
that it's going to do it again. Like, what actually does the triggering of the random event, the event system component? Okay, so it is actually... Maybe I'm playing the game wrong. Well, it's not a game, it's a simulator. But it does seem to have a... every 10 seconds an event should be happening.
We have definitely looked at it for more than 10 seconds.
Does seem that way, doesn't it?
I don't believe that's happening.
Yeah. Okay, let's try one more time.
Okay.
Events are not firing. Maybe we should simplify it. Like, maybe the event should happen when you advance to the next day rather than sitting there staring at a screen. Can we instead make events happen when the user advances to the next day? Multiple events could happen on a single new day. There should be no set interval firing events throughout the day. Only when... I've said the same thing 2 or 3 times here. There's bad prompting. Only when you advance to the next day.
This is not bad prompting. This is This is an actual professional software engineer prompting a tool like this.
Okay.
I feel but like this, the LLM behind this is not a software engineer. Like, it's just not thinking about things in the same way. So it's interesting.
Yeah. So it's updated the event system and the reducer where all the state management is, which makes sense. So what is the event system? Okay, this is emergency at... So this is interesting because I think this is going to say that, unless there's some logic for this elsewhere, it's going to say that new town folk coming to town is an emergency. Which I guess if they need a house, it could be conceived as an emergency
for them. No joy.
It's possible that I've made it worse because it's possible that the game did work before when we were waiting. So I might actually undo this. Maybe it simplified it. Can I see like a diff? Don't think so.
Yeah, there is no diffing, is there? And as you say, you can only go back like one request, it seems.
I will revert that because I have even less faith that is doing anything. If it's simplified and still didn't work.
Sad.
I could possibly say that if we just sit and wait here, something might happen, but it's not clear to me. I guess what I'd need to do now is I'd start like attaching a debugger or putting some console logs in there and seeing what's actually going on.
But you'd actually have to get in and diagnose what's happening because the tool itself is not really giving you loads of help.
No, I suppose I could ask rather than say fix it, say why is it not working? I wonder if that might help. Why are no events firing? My population never goes higher than 0. Here's the issue.
See the issue. Okay.
Event system isn't properly triggering because the dev. Oh, this is interesting. The dev server is running. That's the whole point of Bolt here, right? Is that it's showing me, it's running this code and showing me the output of it. That's funny that it doesn't.
How funny. Wait, so it wasn't running the server before?
It must be, because this is the output of running the server here, and here you go, npm run dev. But I guess the LLM doesn't understand that I'm in this context of using Bolt, essentially.
I just noticed that you burned through quite a lot of tokens.
Oh yeah, interesting.
250k.
Wow.
That's like quite a lot, and unfortunately quite a lot in this loop of like just
no progress.
Please fix this thing.
Yeah, I haven't realized the value yet. Although the initial scaffold, I'd say, was pretty impressive.
For sure.
The actual sort of getting it working, less.
It even gave you a copyright. If you go back to the preview.
Oh yeah. Copyright Tiny Town Simulator.
Congrats. Okay,
so maybe I'll just wrap this up. We'll use some of my remaining tokens to make this a little. I don't know. Should I make it more complicated for Simon? It's already fairly obtuse in some parts. Maybe I'll do something a little bit more approachable. Replace the function and variable names with funny and somewhat difficult to understand names to confuse the developer who has to work with this code base. Which is not an instruction that I'd often give at work.
Yeah.
I'm curious what it'll come out with. If it's too unfair, then maybe we'll just use my downloaded version. But I'm interested to see what it comes.
I'm curious. Okay, so I was
YOLO
curious
meter.
if you can even do that.
So it hasn't actually updated the core code by the looks of it. It's just importing them as like aliasing them to a different name. So the chaos outcome is called the YOLO meter, and the town vibes is called town mood, which, if anything, sounds
tweak town mood. That's not even that confusing.
Initial chaos, YOLO prices, money drain.
Money drain.
I wonder if this has fixed it.
It's not confusing. I like how it changed initial state to initial chaos.
Yeah.
Very edgy.
The initial chaos is nothing. There's no one here. Everything's fine.
Yeah, the chaos is nothing's happening.
Okay, so this hasn't really had the desired effect. That's fine. I think he's probably going to struggle with it enough.
Yeah.
And it looks like I probably haven't got enough tokens to really... What I'd like to do is put a bunch of comments throughout the code to mislead the developer, but perhaps that's unfair. I probably haven't got the tokens for it.
I feel like he'll have some trouble with it as is, but let's see.
Fair enough. Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
That's a good one.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Okay, and that pretty much wraps up part one of this pretty fun experiment where we're now at the stage where both Joe and I have created two tiny town examples of an application whereby Joe used Bolt.new, I used BASE44. And the next step of that challenge is for us to take each other's creations. I'm going to be using Cursor and Joe's going to be using Windsurf to add a new feature that Macey will provide us once again. So look out for that next week. Thanks for listening and tune in to the next episode. Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next time on the AI Native Dev, brought to you by Tesla.